They told her she wouldn't make it, not because they knew her, but because they thought they did. You're too quiet. You're not cut out for that. You're dreaming too big for someone like you. And for years, those words weren't just noise. They were chains. But here's the thing about chains. They can either keep you tied down, or they can be melted down and turned into something stronger. This isn't a story about proving anyone wrong. It's about growing so far beyond their version of you that one day you barely recognized the person they tried to define. Her name was Lena Morris. She grew up in a small Midwestern town, the kind where everyone knew each other's business, and if they didn't, they'd make something up to fill the gap. Lena was the girl in the back row of class, notebook open, pen moving constantly, but her hand always covering the page so no one could peek. She had dreams, but she kept them quiet. Not because she didn't believe in them, but because she'd learned early. The moment you tell people, they start listing all the reasons you'll fail. In high school, her counselor told her, "Trade school might be a better fit for you. College is a stretch." Her aunt once laughed when Lena said she wanted to move to the city. "You wouldn't last a month," she said, stirring her coffee like it was a fact. The comments piled up, small, sharp, easy to brush off one by one, until you realize you're covered in tiny cuts. Lena never argued back. She never defended herself. But inside, there was a slow burn, the kind that doesn't explode. It just smolders until it's unstoppable. One night, sitting in her room under a thrift store lamp, she opened her laptop and started applying to internships. Not jobs, internships. She didn't have the degree yet or the connections, but she had curiosity. Every rejection email started the same. "Thank you for your interest." But she didn't stop. And then one afternoon in March, she got a single yes. A small nonprofit in Chicago needed a summer assistant. It didn't pay much. It wasn't glamorous, but it was her door out. When she told people she was moving, they reacted like she'd announced she was moving to Mars. "Do you even know anyone there? How are you going to afford it? Sounds risky." She just smiled, didn't explain, didn't defend. 2 months later, she packed her life into 2 suitcases and boarded a bus to Chicago. She didn't cry when the town disappeared from the window. She didn't even look back. Chicago wasn't easy. Her studio apartment had walls so thin she could hear her neighbor's alarm clock. Her first grocery run left her with $12 in her account. At the nonprofit, she was the youngest person in the room and the quietest. Meetings flew by in a blur of acronyms she didn't understand. First, she worried they'd think she didn't belong. But she learned something important. Listening is a superpower when everyone else is busy trying to be heard. She took notes. She asked questions no one else thought to ask. She started to understand the work in a way that wasn't loud, but was deeply, quietly sharp. By the end of the internship, Lena had become indispensable. They offered her a part-time position while she enrolled at the local community college. She'd wake up at 5:30 a.m., take classes until noon, then head to work until evening. Her classmates complained about workload. Her coworkers complained about deadlines. She stayed quiet, not because she didn't feel the pressure, but because she had learned not to give her struggles an audience. Her focus was not on proving she could keep up, but on becoming someone who no longer needed to compare herself at all. One fall afternoon, Lena went home to visit her family. It had been almost 2 years since she'd left. At a family dinner, someone asked, "So, are you still doing that little office job?" Lena smiled. She could have told them about her promotion. She could have told them about the project she led that got statewide recognition. She could have shown them the letter from a student who said her workshop changed everything. But she didn't. She just said, "Yeah, it's going well," because she realized she didn't care if they were impressed. She wasn't living for their approval anymore. By 27, Lena was leading the nonprofit's education department. She had a team of 10. She was speaking at conferences. She was the one giving out internships now to kids like she once was. One night after a long day, she passed by a cafe window and saw her reflection. For a second, she didn't recognize herself. Not because she looked different, but because she felt different. The girl who used to carry everyone's doubts like a backpack full of bricks now carried nothing but her own vision forward. Here's the thing, when you live to prove people wrong, they're still in control. Their opinion is still the yardstick you measure yourself against. But when you outgrow them, when you build a life so full, so rich, so far beyond the limits they set for you, you don't even think about them anymore. You stop looking over your shoulder. You stop rehearsing your "see, I told you so" speech. You just live. And that's the quiet victory no one can take from you. So maybe you've got people in your life right now who doubt you, who roll their eyes at your ideas, who keep you in a box you never agreed to live in. You could spend years trying to prove them wrong. Or you could focus on building a life so true to you, they wouldn't even recognize it if they saw it. Don't waste your energy on the small stage they're offering you. Outgrow it. Outgrow them. And when you do, you'll realize the sweetest victories aren't shouted. They're lived. If the story stirred something in you, if you've been carrying the weight of proving yourself to people who stopped mattering a long time ago, let this be your sign. You don't need their applause. You don't need their permission. And you definitely don't need to keep shrinking just to fit into the version of you they remember. Outgrow them. Build the life that makes you proud. And when you get there, don't turn around to prove them wrong. Keep walking toward the person you're becoming. If this message hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like, subscribe, and join me for more stories that light a fire in your soul. Because your quiet growth today will be the loudest thing they've ever seen tomorrow.